A low-crime suspect pretended a baby was dead just to get money out of people. The funeral fraud happened in the high desert.
That's right, and the suspects are accused of preying on kind-hearted drivers. CBS2's Nicole Comstock is live right now in Victorville with more.
That's right, Pat and Jeff. And shortly after the Victorville Police Department posted about these guys on social media, we found that lots of people started commenting they've seen the same people collecting money for the same fake funeral all over the Inland Empire. You have about a minute to decide whether or not you'll donate to people collecting money in traffic.
Oh, of course I was going to donate.
But this was a compelling campaign.
I have kids myself.
Raising money for a little boy's funeral.
I couldn't pass it up.
Neither could Victorville police. They arrested 20-year-old Richard Navarrete at Highway 395 in Palmdale Road for theft. They say he and two 14-year-old young men falsely claimed that little Johnny was dead. Turns out the photo on the sign was their friend's son, and he's alive and well.
They took hard-earned money from a lot of people.
And this mother of six says other people are in on the same scheme. Hours before police stopped these guys, she ran into a woman with children at Doris Davies Park. She says she was holding the exact same sign and collected her $5 in the same water bottle.
Took the money and just said thank you for it.
And now plenty of people in town are wondering if these people recently photographed near the same location with signs for other children's funerals are fakes too.
They're just using, different signs, different people.
And potentially making a small fortune by preying on people who care about kids.
If they don't get tougher punishment, it's not going to stop.
And the Victorville Police Department released that photograph of those suspects because they believe there are more victims and they want to hear from you. In Victorville tonight, Nicole Comstock, CBS 2 News.
Nicole, thank you. Now some breaking news in an unprecedented summit between the leaders of North and South Korea.
Yes, the two nations take a big step closer to peace tonight and say they even want to host the Olympics together. CBS 2 political reporter Dave Ryan is here with, wow, this is some bombshell information.
It sure looks like it. Now, with North Korea, you never quite know what's real and what's an illusion, but it really does look like they made progress, Pat and Jeff. South Korean President Moon Jae-in and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un signed several major agreements in the last couple of hours, including a joint bid to host the 2032 Olympics. South Korea's leader said tonight that the era of war has started. With a handshake and the signing of documents, the two leaders finished a summit in Pyongyang, North Korea, making big promises like pushing for a Korean peninsula without nukes and establishing buffer zones along their borders to prevent a clash. North Korea also said it would permanently dismantle its main nuclear complex if the U.S. takes corresponding measures.
As it is a completely new resolution, there could be various challenges and difficulties. However, Chairman Kim Jong-un and I have trust and friendship.
It's an enthusiastic welcome, and our citizens are hoping for a greater result at a faster rate, like the results we achieved this year.
The summit marks the first time in 11 years a South Korean leader has visited the North Korean capital. It's been 3 days of pomp and ceremony, meetings, dinners, and concerts between the two leaders who appear to have built a rapport. North Korea's Kim Jong-un said after 3 meetings he and South Korean President Moon Jae-in have become really close, and that it's thanks to Moon that the U.S.-North Korea relations are improving. Now, President Trump responded on Twitter tonight. Kim Jong-un has agreed to allow nuclear inspections subject to final negotiations and to permanently dismantle a test site and launch pad in the presence of international experts. In the meantime, there will be no rocket or nuclear testing. Hero remains to continue to being returned home to the United States. Also, North and South Korea will file a joint bid to host the 2032 Olympics. Very exciting. The International Atomic Energy Agency has said in the past they can move quickly to do inspections if they're allowed into North Korea. Tonight's agreement falls short of what Washington wanted, which included a list of the North Koreans' nuclear facilities and a timeline to allow inspectors into those sites. I should have said what they meant was this is the era of no war beginning rather than war. My mistake, Jeff. Back to you.
Okay, Dave, thank you so much. Let's go to some breaking news right now. A search for a missing swimmer.
And Stu Medell is overhead in Redondo Beach with the latest on this. Stu?
has actually been found. Like you said, this happening in the Redondo Beach area right by the pier. Sadly, though, that person has been pulled out of the water, but right now is getting CPR and is not breathing on their own. Redondo Beach Fire, the first ones to get here. This all started with 911 calls to the first responders. They got here very quickly. Lifeguards are here as well. Right now, though, we do know that that swimmer has been located, but at this point, that he has not been transported or taken to a local hospital. That may change. Live in Sky 2 over the Redondo Beach area, I'm Stu Mandel. Back to you two in the studio.
A Stanford University professor accusing President Trump's Supreme Court nominee of sexual misconduct is now calling for an FBI investigation before she testifies. Christine Blasey Ford has accused Brett Kavanaugh of attacking her more than 30 years ago when they were in high school. Now, both have been asked to testify about the claims by the Senate Judiciary Committee. And tonight, Ford's attorney said her client is in hiding because of death threats.
She just came forward with these allegations 48 hours ago. And since that time, she has been dealing with hate mail, harassment, death threats. And for the last 48 hours, she has been deflecting death threats and harassment and trying to care for her family and determine where they're going to sleep at night.
Ford says a third person was in that room when that incident happened. That man, Mike Judge, says he doesn't remember and doesn't want to testify publicly.
Well, disturbing accusations against a Newport Beach surgeon and his girlfriend. The DA says they teamed up to lure, drug, and rape women. CBS2 Orange County reporter Stacy Butler is live outside his office with this story. Stacy.
Yeah, Pat, police tell us that none of it happened here at his office, and it didn't involve any of his patients, but they do believe that it involved female victims all across the Southland. And tonight, they're asking those women to come forward. In happier times, Sarissa Laura Riley posted on YouTube a video of her and her boyfriend in Mexico. But today, the couple is now the center of a shocking investigation.
We've all heard of a wolf dressed up in sheep's clothing. Well, a wolf can wear scrubs or doctor's clothing.
38-year-old Dr. Grant Robichaux and his 31-year-old girlfriend, Sarissa Laura Riley, are accused of raping and drugging Newport Beach women they met at parties and bars. The Orange County District Attorney says the orthopedic surgeon featured on the Bravo series, The Online Dating Rituals of the American Male, used his good looks and charm to lure women to his apartment. Investigators say in one case, 2 years ago, the couple met a woman at a bar and invited her to a boat party in Newport Beach. Then allegedly took her back to Robichaux's apartment where she was raped. Police say she tested positive for numerous controlled substances. 6 months later, police say the couple drank alcohol with another woman until she became unconscious. They allegedly took her back to Robichaux's apartment where she was sexually assaulted with the intent to commit rape. Apparently, a neighbor heard her screams and called 911. This neighbor says her friend had a run-in with the couple.
There was one other time that they invited her back over for wine and she went over there. And I recall her being, I don't know, I guess a little uncomfortable, maybe.
Now, when police searched the couple's home, they say they found large amounts of drugs like ecstasy. They also found thousands of cell phone videos of women who were intoxicated. They say these women may not remember being recorded or possibly victimized. If you have any information about any of these cases, the Orange County District Attorney's Office would like to hear from you. That's the latest from Newport Beach. Back to you guys in the studio.
Covina police say this man carrying a beer mug went into a sports bar bathroom and beat another man unconscious. Officers say last month the two played a game of pool at Clancy's Sports Bar, and then the suspect struck the man, fracturing his skull. Police say the suspect was last seen walking away with a woman.
A major announcement tonight from the San Bernardino Catholic Diocese. With the next couple of weeks, it will release the names of every priest who has been credibly accused of sexually abusing children. The list would cover accusations going back 40 years. Other dioceses are releasing similar lists after the explosive Pennsylvania grand jury report last month.
Well, tomorrow, one of Elizabeth Smart's kidnappers is set to be released from prison more than 5 years earlier than expected. 72-year-old Juana Barzi served 15 years behind bars for the 2002 kidnapping. Now, Smart says she believes Barzi is still a danger and that she feels no remorse for her crime. Barzi's husband, Brian Mitchell, is serving life in prison for the kidnapping.
Ancestry.com confusion. People say their ethnicity suddenly changed.
That's ahead. Plus this.
And Elon Musk is reportedly under federal investigation because of a tweet. I'm Tom Waite, live outside SpaceX headquarters to explain coming up.
And playing chicken with a train. The warning tonight from authorities.
If we don't back up to move forward, we move forward.
And Clippers owner Steve Ballmer sits down with our Jim Hill to look ahead to the season.
Just before the first day of fall, we've got a warm-up to talk about. We'll do that coming up.